Hey everybody, welcome to episode 6 of the Clanker Chronicles. My name is Sean, aka Smarshall. It's been sport, and more sport the last few weeks, so let's take a look at something different this time. There's also the news to catch up on, so let's jump right in. While everyone is interested in having a butler at home, and I am too, there is another field where humanoid robots will have a huge impact, literally. That is security. Security is a hot topic nowadays. The world has been quite a bit more difficult than people expected after Y2K. There was a growing optimism about tech and the future we were headed to. Then we started to realize there were still people out there that were maybe not as nice as us. In fact, there are some total douchebags around, which is why we need security. Knightscope is a US-based company that specializes in robots for security. Founded in 2013 by William Santana Lee, an ex-Ford executive, and Stacey Stevens, a former Dallas police officer, they set out to create a technical solution to the growing violent crime problem. They have a number of static autonomous offerings, but we're going to take a look at the mobile ones. The K5 patrol robot is their first autonomous product. Its main role is security patrols and can work indoors or outdoors. Equipped with a 360-degree HD and thermal cameras, it is a mobile camera platform that can notify its operators when it detects an unauthorized person, unusual sounds, or environmental changes. Weighing in at a hefty 190 kilos or 420 pounds, nice, you wouldn't want it falling on you. It can operate for 24 hours with its auto-docking feature and can travel up to 3 miles an hour. It is only really able to handle flat and level ground and ramps up to 20 degrees. It reminds me a little bit of a Dalek. If you know, you know. Then we get onto the K7, which is a four-wheeled autonomous perimeter security robot. It weighs a pretty hefty 340 kilograms or 770 pounds. It is quite large. You can see it relative to the size of the cars in the background. Equipped with a 4K and thermal cameras with both LiDAR and radar built in. It also has a GPS, so it can be geofenced into an area, and it is much more rugged, able to handle all sorts of irregular terrain. The K5 is offered on a machine-as-a-service model and can range from $4,500 a month to $9,000 depending on requirements. The K7 is not quite in full production, so there's no pricing for that as yet. Then there's Cobalt Robotics. They were founded in 2017 in San Francisco Bay Area by Gabriella Miller and Eric Lin. They specialize in indoor autonomous robots for commercial and enterprise environments, places like offices, campuses, and warehouses. The Cobalt R3 is a wheeled robot built to be compact and safe around people. It has a built-in card reader, 360-degree camera coverage, thermal camera, and numerous environmental sensors. At 200 pounds or 80 kilos, it is much smaller and lighter than the outdoor robots from Knightscope. It can offer a full 8 to 12 hour shift on a single charge or full day operation with autonomous charging. The R3 improved on their R2 robot with better sensors, improved automation, navigation, and a more refined design. Pricing is also on subscription, around the same as Knightscope's offering at the $5,000 plus range. Then we have Robotic Assistance Devices, which is a subsidiary of Artificial Intelligence Technology Solutions, or ATIX, a US-based company specializing in AI-powered autonomous security robots and related systems. Their main product at the moment is called Romeo, which stands for Rugged Observation Assistance Mobile Electronic Officer. They really love their acronyms. A rugged indoor and outdoor patrol robot, weather-resistant with a durable chassis. It can do autonomous patrols with both randomized and scheduled routes. It has AI smarts to move around obstacles and people with built-in path prediction. It is also able to identify people, vehicles, loitering, and unauthorized access, and it can even detect guns and read license plates. Once it identifies something, it can alert a human operator and turn on strobe lights and activate sirens autonomously. And since we're talking about security, there is one extra capability you probably want from your robots, and that is for them to fight back against intruders. Quite literally in the case of URKL, or Ultimate Robot Knockout, a newly formed robot fighting league in a similar vein to UFC, but without the silly rules like no tearing off of the opponent's heads. Set up by a robot manufacturer called Engine AI, and the robots are standardized on Engine AI's own T800s. It kicked off in Shenzhen in China on July 16th. The robots have to run fully autonomously, no remote control is allowed, and the main difference being the custom software each team loads onto their devices. The full season features over 32 teams with global qualifiers. There's a big prize pool of 10 million RMB or $1.4 million, so some serious money on the cards. This particular fight went viral because of the repair job some poor team will have to do after the event. Most of you have probably seen Robot Wars in the UK or the NHRL in the US. Neither of those have a humanoid division though, but I'm sure that will be changing in the very near future. Prize money from those shows was only between $5,000 and $30,000, so the big jump up from one manufacturer is going to put the Chinese leagues on the robot map. The design of Tesla's new AI chip, the AI5, has been finalized with Samsung. This paves the way for production to start at the Samsung foundry at Taylor in Texas around the middle of next year. Tesla already have designs taped out with TSMC in Taiwan, as Tesla are looking to dual source their chips in order to meet the expected demand. This comes 3 months after Elon has announced that Tesla had completed its initial design of the A5, so good progress has been made. The AI5 is based on a line of chips built from their self-driving cars, but has significantly more power to deal with the needs of robotic compute. They are expecting a 5 times increase in performance, which is seriously impressive. Up to 192 gigs of memory with a similar 5 times increase in bandwidth. Altogether, this should amount to a near 40 times increase in performance for AI inference tasks. Elon says the new AI5 chip will be one of the most produced AI chips in the world. And speaking of Samsung and robotics, Samsung have just announced they are setting up a robotics division. Yes, one of the biggest manufacturers out there are now throwing their weight into automating our lives. They have had a number of robot prototypes over the years, like this Bally prototype from a few years ago, but they have mainly been proof of concepts. This announcement will centralize much of their robot efforts under a new umbrella called Samsung RX, or Robotic Experience Division. That will be headed up by Dongkung Lee, the Hyundai executive that was in charge of Boston Dynamics. Initial priorities will be to fully automate their own factories by 2030, which is pretty ambitious if you're building from scratch, but not impossible. They do have interest in building general-purpose humanoids too, so it may not be long before you can order a Samsung Android Ultra. WAIC 2026, or the World AI Conference, was held last weekend in Shanghai. It had over 100,000 square meters of exhibition space, so a substantial conference. This year they launched WAICO, which is a cooperative development organization focused on AI and robotics to promote responsible AI development, safety, and harmonized ethics. About 29 countries have become founding members. Most only have a very limited robotics offering at the moment, and none are from Western countries. It is seen as China hedging its bets against tech decoupling from the US, and it makes sense for China to do something like this. China is seeding the growth in these other countries that may turn out to be useful for China in the future. Certainly it's good for those member countries to have some help getting in on the robot action. As we've seen previously on the show, the US and China dominate robot offerings at the moment. And so far as robot announcements, Agibot have revealed the A3 Ultra, a full-sized humanoid. Compared to the regular A3, it is a bit taller at 174 centimeters. It has more degrees of freedom, can manage a heavier payload, and has more dexterous hands, and also comes with 700 TOPS of compute. It is designed for commercial, service, or industrial tasks, like being on a reception or doing inspections. No pricing as yet, but it is probably going to be close to the $100,000 to $120,000 range. Agibot also revealed their G2 Max. The G2 series is their lineup for industrial applications. This is a heavy payload variation with force-controlled handling. It has adjustable working height and omnidirectional wheeled mobility. It also has battery replacement and autonomous charging capabilities to allow for continuous operation. Run Robotics released a Centaur-style robot, which is pretty awesome. The world's first wheel-leg hybrid Centaur robot, it combines fast wheeled movement with legged terrain adaptability in a split-body design. Over 95% of the core components are domestically produced. It is built for demanding tasks like autonomous inspection, firefighting, and emergency rescue. Named one of the top 10 exhibits at the event, we're definitely going to see this thing popping up in a few unusual places. Galbot also showed off their G1. It is a wheeled humanoid robot. It stands 173 centimeters tall, weighs about 85 to 92 kilos, and it has an omnidirectional chassis. Also has torso lift up to 2.4 meters reach and has dexterous hands. Then there is the S1, a heavy-duty industrial wheeled humanoid designed for demanding factory or logistics tasks. This robot can handle heavy loads with a peak payload of 50 kilograms on its arms, but rated at 30 kilos. Matrix also had their Matrix 3 on show. This robot uses a cable-driven tendon system for its hands, similar to the route that the 1X has taken with the Neo. The interesting part is that Matrix are using linear actuators for the limbs on the Matrix 3, which should make for a very strong but slightly slower robot. It will be interesting to see it in action. There was a brief view of it at the conference, but it was a fairly confined display. With over 300 companies on show, this was only a small window into what was going on at the Wake conference. And yes, that means we've reached the end of another episode of the Clanker Chronicles. Things are flowing thick and fast now, so be sure to subscribe to keep up to date. Please also remember to comment down below and also give us a like. That really helps us out a lot. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you later. Cheers. Things are flowing.